For the second time this year, a Shenendehowa coaching legend stepped up to the microphone to make a major announcement. Ken Strube, after 33 years as the girls' basketball coach, will hang up his whistle at the end of this season.
You go first.
Well, I would like to announce that Dr. Robinson and I reached a lifetime contract. No, just kidding. Sorry. After 33, this will be my 33rd year coaching girls, and previously to that, I did 3 years as an assistant boys coach here at Shen with Coach Jimmy Zullo. After this season, I will be retiring to my wife's team, and I've had a blast here at Shen for the 33 years that I've coached the girls. I want to apologize to you media guys for not returning calls and emails and text messages yesterday, but these guys put a gag order on me, and most of you know me relatively well. You know, I'm not usually one you can gag pretty easily. I like to chatter a bit. My wife will attest to that with all the phone calls over the years to you guys. But I want to thank the media because you guys have been very generous to myself and my players over the years. You know, you've kept things confidential when I've asked you to, and you've treated my players and our program with the utmost respect, and I appreciate that. I feel that now's the time because actually my philosophy always was that when I was done teaching, I would retire and should retire from coaching. And then I met this little sophomore when she was little girl when she was a freshman playing for us. And she said, "Coach, you can't leave until I'm finished playing." And that girl was Emily Weber. And now she's a senior. She's playing her last season for us. And Chris and Dr. Robinson were gracious enough to let me stick around one more year so I could fulfill that promise to Emily and coach out this final 2011-12 season. I want to give a few props to people and organizations that have really been tremendously helpful to me over the years and good to our program. First and foremost, to my wife Joanne and our sons Joe and Frank, who anybody who's involved in athletics, whether you're coaching, playing, media person, administration, you know the time and effort that goes into this and the family time that gets sacrificed. And without the blessing of my family, none of this happens, or it only happens for a couple years, and then it's on to something else. So I thank you, hon, from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to coach all these years. I'm gonna owe her big time. Also to my family and friends who come out and support us to all the big games and even the small games. They're always in the stands. I'd also like to give a shout out to my high school coaches at Colony, Pep Sand and Bill Austin, who instilled the passion of basketball into me at a young age. And as a matter of fact, our vaunted 1-2, 1-1 press and our 1-3-1 trap I learned from Pep, and people still haven't figured it out, which is pretty cool. Not our kids, I mean the teams we play. Also another shout out to Colony, JV coach at the time, Jim Sheehan, who gave me my first ever coaching experience. He took me in when I was doing a long-term subbing job there, and I was his assistant for the last couple months at Colony back in '76, I think. It was a long time ago. And then to Jim Zullo, as I mentioned earlier, the 3 years I coached with Jimmy, I learned so much, and by that time I was ready to be a head coach somewhere, and would be as the girls basketball coach here at Shen. The next to Brent Steuerwald, who came to me and asked me if I would be willing to coach the girls basketball team. And I said, Brent, we have a girls' basketball team at Shen? And he said, yes, my boy, we do. And as you guys know, Brent has 3 daughters. He's the football coach, but he has 3 daughters. And I said, Brent, how do you coach girls? And he just said, when they come through the locker room, onto the playing court, they're athletes. When they go back and change and come out, they're young ladies. And that's really been a basic philosophy that I've lived by as a coach for the past 33 years. I thank you for that advice, Coach. I just want to name 4 coaches, rival coaches, pretty strong rivalries over the past. Most of these guys are from the early years, but they were very influential, I feel, in my development as a coach. Joe Landers at Colony, Fran Pugliese from Columbia, Brian Rubino at Catholic High, and Ron Ciccinelli. I bust Ron. I call him the godfather of girls basketball because his teams were the first great teams. He gets so mad because he's only about my age, but I give him that prop. No basketball program or no athletic program sustains itself with excellence over time unless they have a great youth program. And we have the best here in Clifton Park, and we have had the best for 30-plus years. It started out with St. Edward's CYO and St. Mary's CYO and the Corpus Christi CYO programs. And then about 12 or 14 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, it morphed into the Clifton Park Town program. The CYO program kind of faded away. But the same dedication of parents, coaching kids, implementing things that we like to do at our level, provided us with a steady stream of phenomenal players. Kids that were everyday names as they got to the high school level. Debbie and Laura Barnes, Jennifer Scanlon, Brenna Doty, Kelly Scanlon. I mean, just remarkable talent over the years. The Shenendehowa community, I can't tell you how great it is to coach in a community like Clifton Park, where people come out of the woodworks to show support for their kids and for their kids' friends, and it's really been a blast sharing these years with the community and with our teams. To the Shen faculty, coaches, staff, and administration in particular, Chris Cullen, our current athletic director, his boss and secretary, Christy Hefner, and Dr. Robinson and Don Flint, they've been tremendously supportive in every endeavor that we try to carry out. Parents. Coaches don't usually talk too fondly about parents, but we've had great parents here at Shen. I hear some of the horror stories from other coaches, and knock on wood, it hasn't been like that here. Every parent wants to see their kid play, but the parents here, they know the competition level. They bring their kids they do everything they can to help their daughter improve and be able to play and participate at the next level. And as a coach, it's really appreciated. I thank you. The coaching staff that I've had over the years. I've had a group of tremendous coaches that I've worked with, but none better than our current staff. We currently have 2 girls that are former players that are helping in the program. Audrey Kuhn is beginning her 3rd year as an assistant at the freshman level, played for me. Sarah Hinman, it's her 3rd year in the program, 2nd year as a varsity assistant, and she speared us to a sectional and regional competition in 2004. Joe Murphy was a volunteer assistant for 5 years, and this is his 4th year as the freshman girls coach. Tony Mangione, after years at the helm of the Clifton Park program, has been a volunteer assistant at the varsity level now with me for 9 years. And Tim Miner, this is only, Tim has only been around 20 years. He was an assistant with me for 3 years. His very first year in the program, how influential he was, we won a state championship. And then this is his 17th year as the JV coach. And it's that longevity and that consistency that makes our program strong. Everybody's on the same page. We do similar things at all 3 levels. and nobody's afraid to suggest things and bounce things off me, and I'm not afraid to say no, and I'm not afraid to say, yeah, let's do that. So we've got a great mix of people, and it's been an awful lot of fun coaching with those guys and girls. And lastly, and most importantly, the players. If you don't have the horses, you're not going to win the race. And believe me, I've had the horses. I mean, we've had talent right from the very beginning. I mentioned Ron Ciccinelli earlier. One of my first scrimmages was against Gibbons. They killed us. He had 3 starters that lived in Clifton Park. So once the Clifton Park kids stayed in Clifton Park, we became a very good program. And it wasn't, any rocket science that happened. When the talent stayed home, we've been good and good since. And this year's team is no exception. They're a very talented group of kids. I had Christy run off some copies. I really would love to name players, but you guys have to go on sometime tonight with your news events, and it's a very lengthy list. You can see when you see that list, I've just been blessed. I've had New York State Players of the Year. I've had Parade All-Americans. We've had, I think, over 30 girls get All-State recognition. Just the list goes on and on and on. And I've just been so blessed to have landed in Clifton Park. My teaching career was a fairy tale, and my coaching career was also a fairy tale. So thank you very much.
Ken is my nephew, that's why.